Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to give you a complete guide to beginner watercoloring and will walk you through tools you will need to paint, what you should be painting first, simple techniques of painting, and how you should start and practice painting. So if you are thinking of pursuing watercoloring as a hobby or as a profession and are thinking how you should start, then you're in the right place. So without much further ado, let's dive into the video. Okay, so talking about the first thing that comes to your mind when you are starting your first watercolor painting. That is all the stuffs you need like the color, the paper and brushes. So I'll talk about them one by one. You can choose either a poster color, tube color or a cake or pan color, whichever suits you best. I personally recommend using cake colors because first you can get much more options of the color on the palette, and the second, they are very convenient to use. Watercolors often get dried up if not in use, and bottle will not be the right choice in that situation. You will literally have to retrieve the color from the bottle using a paintbrush, and tubes will be even worse. There are many options for brands you can choose from. It depends on quality but more on price. You can go for Camel or Doms. You can get 24 color set at just rupees 250. I personally use Brustro pan colors, which are expensive but really good. Before this, I have always used Camel cake colors. You can go for much more expensive colors like Derwent, but those will not be of much relevance now when you are starting and in the learning phase of watercoloring. When choosing the watercolor paper, as I have talked about in this video, use 300 GSM paper with 100% cotton or a 300 GSM paper with 25% cotton. GSM defines the thickness of the paper. The more the GSM of the paper, the thicker the paper will be. So since watercolor requires use of lots of water, the paper needs to be strong enough to absorb water in large amounts and still not become wavy. Again, you can go for any brand as long as they meet the criteria. I use sheets from Brustro and Renaissance, which are expensive and have a really high quality paper. As for the brushes, you can go for synthetic brushes with different shapes and sizes. I've always been using Camel brushes, which I will also recommend you. Those are cheap and are perfect for when you are practicing watercoloring. I now use Brustro brushes, which are really soft, and will recommend you if you want to buy something from the expensive range. For the palettes, you can go for any palette you find suitable at the local art store. I mean, I don't think there is any specific quality they should have other than having cavities for the colors. I sometimes use kitchen utensils for them, so I don't think it really matters. So that covers it all. You can find all the links of products that I've talked about in the description box below. Choosing what to paint as your first painting is a real dilemma. Always keep in mind that your first painting don't have to be perfect. It can be a practice painting with the practice brush strokes, but it still can really look good. That's the beauty of art. It can be messy, but there's no perfect way of doing it. So don't try too hard to make it perfect. Just go with the flow. It will come to you anyway. You can start by making flowers or a bunch of flowers if that is convenient to you. They are simple and need just a few brush strokes to make. Leaves are also simple, although there are a lot of variations on the internet. You can find from simple to complex, much realistic leaf. You can choose whichever you want, preferably simple and easy to paint. If you want to make an impromptu art piece and don't have the time and patience to learn the brush strokes, go paint a night sky with stars. These are extremely simple yet look so beautiful. Still, I would say the word easy in watercoloring is different from everyone. I myself is more comfortable in painting animals than flowers. I find them much easier to paint. So try to find your own type and practice more and more on that subject before skipping to the next level. Before diving directly into painting a solid subject, it's important to understand the different combinations of brush, paper and the amount of water, that is wet on wet, wet on dry, dry on wet and dry on dry. You can see here how the brush strokes are barely visible with water and how they are so visible in the absence of it. Similarly, you need to understand the terms flat washes, which are the solid fill of colors, and gradient washes, which are transitioning from darker and much thicker colors to more transparent, apparently more diluted colors, as you can see here. First tip I can give for watercoloring is don't take the whole page for painting a single subject for practicing. Instead, divide the paper in 4 parts maybe and try making it by cloning. Let me explain this a bit more clearly. After division of paper in 4, you draw the same subject in all parts. Here I have taken the subject as a flower. As a base, we will wet the paper in the areas in focus and then add color in gradient wash. Make sure to let the area dry up before switching to an adjacent area to avoid blending of colors. After the base color has been applied in the first part, do the same with the other three. Now on the second part, apply the second layer which would be darker than the first and apply the same to other parts except for the first. Continue doing this until you get the final painting. So that is all for today's video. If you have any queries regarding the subject, please leave a comment below and please like and subscribe if you like the video.